Hello, hello. Welcome to Conversations with the Empress. I am the Empress. Happy Wednesday, or whenever day you watch this. This is a funny story that my friend Greg from high school never lets me live down. So for my sweet 16, you know, that's a big deal for 16. You're supposed to do a party or whatever. So my parents end up putting together this party for me at the local VFW. You know, nothing big and fancy. All my family members brought, covered dishes for the food and stuff. And we had a DJ and everything. And I had me a little date. Like, I thought I was the shit when I was 16. I had me a little date with this Colombian guy named Danny, and he taught me how to do bachata that night. Almost danced my hips off that night. Bachata is an easy dance, but that shit works you out. I'm telling you, you want some nice hips and your little side shit? Yeah, that's the shit. That's a side note, but so all my friends came, all my family came. I remember I had this little gold pantsuit. It was way older than 16, but I don't know. I've just always been an old soul to a certain extent. So we're all dancing, having a great time. And suddenly the scent of weed starts like rolling through the party. Okay. And in high school, I didn't smoke weed at all. Like, I was completely against weed in high school. I didn't like how it smelled. I didn't like how people who smoked their eyes was all red. I was very judgmental, and I did not like weed at all. So for me, I was just like, wow, somebody's really smoking weed in my party. I was offended. But I mean, I just kept partying. Like, you smoking weed, you smoking it. Like, you know, I'm having my party, whatever. So we're all dancing, having a good time, and the smell is getting thick. Like, it's getting dank, right? All of a sudden, you hear the DJ record go skirt, and my dad gets on the microphone, and my dad had a big, gruff, deep voice, and he's like, someone has been smoking reefer in the bathroom. Okay. So at the time, you know, weed was not called reefer. Like, that is some old shit to call weed reefer. If somebody calls weed reefer, they some old people. Okay? So I didn't find out who was smoking reefer that night. Like, I never found out who was smoking it. But the fact that my dad got on the microphone and said someone was smoking reefer, it was the funniest shit ever. It was so fucking funny how he said it. Because number one, my dad's a preacher, so it's like everything he say when he's being serious, he sounds like a preacher. So my friend Greg had started busting out laughing when my dad had said that shit, and like, he could not control the laughter. And now every time I talk to my friend Greg, he's always like, oh yeah, your dad was funny as hell that night at your sweet 16. We in our 40s now, and that moment has still lived on in infamy that my dad said called weed reefer. I mean, there's lots of names you could call weed besides reefer. I mean, there's weed, there's marijuana, there's grass, there's herb. Nowadays, a lot of people say loud. Because everybody knows that that's an old ass way to call weed. Like, nobody says reefer. That reminds me of that old ass black and white movie. That was like when weed was like really just a cardinal sin. What was that movie? Reefer Madness or some shit it was called. And on the movie, they're showing how weed makes you go crazy and lose your mind and do crazy shit. I had to watch it in college or high school or something. I can't remember what it was, but it's a black and white movie. And, you know, it has undertones of racism in it too, because anything from that far back is racist. But when he said reefer, like, it just lost the desired effect of somebody like feeling bad about it because he made the shit funny. Like, I know he was trying to be serious, but I mean, how far have we come in this world now where, you know, smoking weed is not a big deal anymore? But back then it was a cardinal offense, and he stopped the whole party with that. And nobody, of course, nobody stepped forward and say, oh yeah, it was me smoking reefer in the bathroom. So, many years later, and when I say many years later, I mean many years, like I was an adult. I have a friend who sent me a message and said, I just want to let you know, I've been carrying this around with me for all these years, but I was the one smoking reefer in the bathroom at your Sweet 16 party. Please don't tell your father. Yo, when I tell you I fell out laughing because now I'm an adult and you're just now finding the courage to admit that you was the one smoking reefer in the bathroom at my Sweet 16. Of course, then I told my mother and father who it was against their wishes because the shit was just so funny. And of course, my dad was like, oh, I don't even remember that. I'm like, Dad, that moment will live in infamy and the word reefer will forever ring in my brain and my friend Greg's brain forever. Like, if you know something you remember from when you was a kid in that much detail, that shit will live on in your brain forever. That was the highlight of my Sweet 16. And that is probably the reason why I remember my Sweet 16 so well, because of that situation with that reefer. Sometimes I want to just call it reefer just to see what people say when I say it, because that term is so old. Like, that is old. Like, I mean, that's older than grass. Like, I don't know, man. It was some funny shit. And now, all these years later, I'm a weed smoker. So it's like, you never know how shit works out in life. But that was a funny moment, and I will never, ever, ever live that down. So if you were at my Sweet 16 and you remember that, I'm sure you're probably laughing right now. And I'm sure my friend Greg will watch this and die laughing all over again because I'm doing a show on it. It is what it is. Now, if you're having a bad day and somebody pissing you off, smoke some reefer if you have to. Smoke some reefer if you have to. It's still funny. But it's just funny because my dad was trying to make a point and trying to scold somebody, and we couldn't deal with scolding because it was so funny that he said reefer. I'm like, reefer? I said, what the fuck is reefer? Being 16 and not a weed smoker, I'm like, reefer? What the hell is reefer? I don't even know where that word came from. Anyway, y'all enjoy y'all day. If you like this show, you want to see more, please go like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And until we meet again, smooches.